Delisa Blackwell. Welcome to City. As you can see, we are here in Las Vegas. We're opening our show this week at the Orleans Hotel, and you can see Big Al is right behind me. And City TV has been featuring wonderful stories on the rebirth and the revitalization of the classic cocktail and cigar smoking. So we're going to be at the show, the Cigar Expo show. We're going to be featuring some of the best hand-rolled premium cigars on this show. We're also going to be telling you about some of the great classic cocktails that work so well with those cigars. And, of course, the hot spots to go to in Las Vegas when you're here, so you can really enjoy the cigar smoking atmosphere that's going on today and this mania for cigars and classic cocktails. So join us for this half hour and enjoy yourself and tune in to what's hot here in Las Vegas in the cigar smoking world. And now for the real fun part of City TV. We are at Nikki Blairs, and I have Nicky Blair right beside me. Hi, Nikki.
Hello, Rebecca. How are you?
Oh, it's just great to be at your restaurant here in Las Vegas. And how long have you been here?
Well, we opened last year around this time. We opened, I think, the 1st of June, and we've been here 10 months. And it's exciting. It took me over 2.5 years to build it. We had a sign outside, opening January, opening June. Finally, I says, opening soon.
Well, listen, Nikki, you just won some awards here. What awards did you win at Nicky Blair's?
Well, what they did was last week they had the big section in the Review Journal about the restaurants, the best of the best, this big magazine section. And we won, it says, the best of the best, Nicky Blair brings the old Las Vegas back to Las Vegas. I have 3 rooms. I have the bar, which smokes. This dining room right here, which you see, is the non-smoking. And then there's the smoking room. And the funny part is that the smoking room is filled up more than the non-smoking. In Los Angeles, it's just reverse.
I know that, and that's why we wanted to be here at Nicky Blair's today. One of the reasons, because we're going to meet with the Swedish Match cigar people, and we are going to be in your cigar area at
we built the front of the restaurant. When people, even that dine in non-smoking, they sneak out on their wives and girlfriends and go take a cigar or a smoke right outside here.
It is a beautiful restaurant. Nikki, you have really done it. I feel just so comfortable here, too. It's comfortable, great food. It's just a great place to be. I love Nicky Blair's.
It's exciting. Yeah, that's me.
I know, and here he is. So come and see him when you come to Las Vegas. And, Nikki, we're going to go meet the Swedish Match people. But
and I'll be here every night. If I'm not here, then you'll say, Nikki played hooky.
Oh.
And I go to every table, say hello to everybody. And
you always did, and you always will.
And it's like doing shows. I do my first show and second show. Right now we're doing my matinee.
We've just met with Nicky Blair, and now we're in the cigar smoking area of the Nicky Blair restaurant here in Las Vegas. And this is a debut, premiere opportunity to meet with the Swedish Match premium cigars that are just introducing themselves into the United States relatively just recently. And Gary Wiegand is with Swedish Match, and he's joining me here. And we have J.D. Jenkins with me as well. He gets to be the great distributor of all these great cigars. Well, I'll tell you what, J.D., we're going to start with Gary and find out about Swedish Match, and we'll be over there with you in a minute. Okay, Gary, welcome to City.
Nice to be here.
Okay, now there's a long history on Swedish Match cigars and all the premium cigars that you're bringing into the United States. Please share that story with us.
Rebecca, we've been in the cigar business for over 200 years. We have a tremendous heritage in the cigar business, but not in the United States. We're distributed in 90 countries, but just recently we've decided to come into the United States market.
We have 3 of your different brands here, your premium cigars, and I was hoping you'd tell us a little bit about each one of them.
Great. Our premium hand-rolled cigar is made in Indonesia, and it's Montague is the name. Mm-hmm. And it's a relatively new startup operation, and we're doing things a little bit different than what's been done in the past. We're being associated only with a limited amount of shops in the United States. And there's a reason for that. We want to make sure that we provide the service and we provide the product. And some of the other things that we're doing with this particular product is we're draw testing every single cigar that's made. And to the best of our knowledge, we're the only ones that are doing that. And of course, the presentation of the cigar is absolutely wonderful. It's in a double-class cherrywood box. And it's truly a super premium cigar.
I wanted to show this box, and we'll get a close-up of it later, but isn't it pretty? Next we have.
The Heron van Rysdale is the super premium cigar from Holland. It comes in the Grand XO version in a great cedar wood box, complete with its own built-in humidor.
Okay, and third?
And third is the Grand Corona, La Paz Grand Corona. La Paz is a name that has heritage in Europe for over 200 years. We're bringing it to the United States in several varieties. This happens to be the Grand Corona. It's a very mild cigar blended with over 20 different tobaccos to help us maintain consistency and draw all the time.
Okay, Gary, now we're going to switch over to JD. JD, the Swedish Match cigars are exclusive. They are premium. So will you tell us how you're introducing them into the United States in an exclusive manner?
Well, we're introducing these two cigars, the La Paz Grand Corona and the De Heron van Rysdale, to premium tobacco shops across the country. And as Gary mentioned a moment ago, the Montague is a very select cigar. It's only available in what we consider the top 50 retailers in the United States, and we're being very selective on that product. At current, we have 29 of the 50 stores selected and have agreements in place for that. And as the exclusive distributor of the Swedish Match products, we're very pleased to bring their cigars to the United States.
And we are very pleased to have met you and had an opportunity to introduce Swedish Match right here on our show, City. And Gary, we want to get back to you and thank you very much for joining us. Wish you a lot of great success here in the United States, and we'll all be looking for Swedish Match.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. We have a Swedish Match right in front of us here, and I was just wondering, from your point of view, what are some of the really key points that are going to make it so successful in the United States in its very exclusive and premium introduction?
Well, we're very excited to be working with Swedish Match and introducing their cigars to the U.S. and I have to say I'm not an expert yet. I'm working on it. I am really more of a cigar lover.
Oh, do you smoke? Are you a cigar smoker? This will be perfect for you then, won't it?
This is actually a dream come true for me, where I can actually smoke cigars as on the job
and have a real reason.
and have a perfectly legitimate reason to do so.
And what do you enjoy then about these Swedish Match products?
I think the most interesting thing about the Swedish Match line of premium cigars is that they in fact have very distinct and different products. Many of the other premium cigar companies, and there's a lot of good ones out there, they typically tend to specialize in one particular premium cigar, whereas with the Montague is a distinctly different product from the De Heron van Rysdale and La Paz Grand Corona. La Paz Grand Corona is my personal favorite. I like that the best. But I would say in terms of cigar making and craftsmanship, the Montague is probably unexceeded in its excellence.
And the Montague carries with it a little slogan. Would you be able to remember it?
Oh, I think I can.
Please, I am testing you. This is it. You're either going to pass or fail on this. What is it?
The Montague handmade premium long filler cigar represents consistent perfection, in that each cigar is made perfectly and is draw tested. Each and every single Montague premium cigar is draw tested, and also it is consistently available at each of the approximately 29 authorized Montague dealers across the country, the fine tobacco shops that are currently carrying this product. So in that respect, it is consistently perfect each and every time.
I am looking forward to trying your products, Swedish Match and the Montague and the La Paz and all of them. I think it'll just be great. And again, I'm wishing everyone great success here in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate the opportunity to introduce our fine cigars to cigar lovers everywhere.
And it's so nice to meet you on camera.
Thank you very much.
We're at one of the hottest new cigar bars in Las Vegas, and it's Hamilton's, and it's in the hot New York, New York. John Vidal is joining me, and John, welcome to City.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
I want to tell everybody who you are. You are the Consumer Development Manager for Brown-Forman's Select Brands, of which we have some in front of us today. And I know that they are very popular here at Hamilton's, but we don't all know the story, so you're the Consumer Development. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, thanks, Rebecca. Primarily what we're finding is that today's consumer is drinking an enormous amount of single malt scotch and better whiskeys in general, but scotch has always been known to be one of the best-selling spirits around the world, so it's natural that single malt scotch should progress up to be the cream of the cream right now. Pairing single malt scotches with cigars is also very popular, as today's consumer is finding a an appreciation for the palate, whether that's better foods, meats, sauces, spirits, cigars, wines. Everything fits into that whole consumerism that's going on in America, particularly right now. What we have is 3 very delicious products from Glenmorangie, which is a single Highland malt Scotch distillery located in the town of Tain in the Northern Highlands. The name Glenmorangie is actually two Gaelic names thrown together. The word Glen is Gaelic for valley, and as you find many single malt Scotches today have the word Glen in front of them, that means valley, because the distilleries are located in valleys where the water pools, so they have a good water source for their distillate. The name Morangie means tranquility in Gaelic, so putting those together you have the Valley of Tranquility. And it dates back to 1843 when William Matheson owned a farm there, the Morangie Farm, and he commissioned it to begin making single malt Scotch and Scotch whiskey. It's very interesting because the 3 whiskeys we have here are very non-traditional single malt Scotches. They're actually finished, we call it, in a different wood than they first began their life in. They all start as a 12-year-old Scotch whiskey being aged the traditional manner, which is in used bourbon barrels that come from the United States, and then they go into an alternative barrel for 2 more years, whether it be the sherry wood finish, which goes into sherry butts, they call them, for 2 years, or Madeira, which goes into Madeira drums for 2 years, and then finally the portwood, which goes into portwood pipes for 2 years. So you actually have a 14-year-old product totally, but we'll say 12 years because 12 years is where it first starts its life. Very interesting. Let me pour you first the sherry wood finish, because it has a trace of almond and hazelnut and a little bit of vanilla that comes from the bourbon barrels and at the same time also comes from the sherry butts. What we have here is a product that's very light gold in color, just an incredible body to it, and then the nose is just incredible. It has a sherry nose to it, and in tasting it, a lot of the sherryness comes to it. Adding just a touch of water, which helps to open up the sherry hints, helps to oxidize the wine that's located in the single malt Scotch. It's tremendous. What it does for the whiskey is just, it makes it so incredibly large. And again, when paired with a cigar, you have the sweetness of the single malt Scotch and the very leathery texture and the richness and robustness of the cigar that are good compatible opposites that you want to make sure that you have in appreciation. Secondly, we have the Madeira wood finish. And these barrels actually come from the island of Madeira off the African coast. And with this, you have a very acidic, high acidic content from the grape that's grown and then made into a fortified wine. You have something that becomes very musty, but at the same time very high in citric taste, a burnt orange or a lemon taste. It's something we'll also like to define as a creme brulee, which you're not going to find normally in a whiskey, but if you can find a creme brulee taste, it's just incredible. So we've gone from almond and hazelnut now to creme brulee and some caramelized orange taste. Color is a little greenish of sorts because it has been in a Madeira barrel for 2 years. The taste here is a little on the spicy side. So when matching this with a cigar, you'd probably want to find a cigar slightly sweeter in texture to go with the spiciness of the single malt Scotch. Again, it's a good balance. Makes for very nice. One that doesn't require a lot of water because it's very full as it is, unlike the sherry that needs some water. Lastly, we have port. We like to call this the Marilyn Monroe of single malt Scotches. It has incredible body. It's got some beautiful legs on it too, and I'll show you here in just a second what I mean. It has legs just like you'd find in a wine. It's something that you definitely want to savor for quite a few nights if you can. So we call it our Marilyn Monroe. But the color is a very antique copper, almost reminiscent of the copper color of the stills at Glenmorangie. And if you look very closely, you can see the reflection of the master distiller's face in the color, as if he were looking into the still.
Are you fooling me, John?
Just slightly, Rebecca. Don't worry about it, though. Just hang with me on this one. The very last part of it is, after you can appreciate the color, the nose is just tremendous. It has a little bit of a butterscotch nose to it. Again, it's something you're not going to find in single malt Scotches. Let's add a little bit of water to it again to open it up. And you have 2 very, very particular and peculiar tastes that come through.
68, 56,
You have a baker's chocolate and a toffee
46,
that is, you can catch it on the back of your palate. And again, you wouldn't think that you'd find that on a single malt Scotch, but to have now 3 tastes that are very different, it's different as wine. In fact, varietal wine concept is what we like to refer this as. We can now showcase this as a varietal type of single malt Scotches to be tried throughout the meal with different types of cigars, where this would probably go with the most robust cigar because it has a very high sweet texture, just like port. You can match these up and mingle them throughout the day, throughout the meal, throughout the season if you want. So really we have a single malt Scotch for all seasons.
Well, I'm overwhelmed. I can't wait to try every one of them. And I have brought you a special Hamilton cigar so that you can enjoy them as well, even more.
I appreciate that. This is something that, again, it's one of the prize cannons in the industry. When matched up with Glenmorangie, it couldn't be better. So I appreciate it.
Well, we were both prepared. I have one for me and one for you, and I see that they're starting the bingo games behind us. So we'll maybe. Thank you for joining us, John.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate it.
Shannie Meadow is with me. Shannie, this is a great extravaganza. Are you having a good time?
I'm having a ball.
Now, you were here the whole week for the show.
Yes, I'm
And you are with?
Cigar International out of Chicago, Illinois.
We have your cigars right here. All right, well, you must be about the only woman that was here. No, are there many women involved in this industry?
Actually, I haven't seen that many. It's very male-dominated.
I see you have one of the single malt scotches.
Yes.
How do you feel about single malt scotch? You like it?
I've been a single malt Scotch for years.
Do you like this particular brand?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. You've been trying it. Did you meet Scott Harris over here?
As a matter of fact, he matched it with the cigar that I'm
He
smoking.
did. The fun of it, they say, is to try and match the cigars with the drinks and that kind of thing. How would you describe your cigar so we can find out from Scott then firsthand how it blends with his?
Our cigar is a Costa Rican cigar. It's full-flavored, medium-body cigar with spicy overtones. So it goes very, very well with a lot of stronger scotches.
Oh, well, that is great. Now turn around here. Let's turn around. Scott. Oh, Scott, listen, I want to hear from you. Why does your scotch go so well with her cigar?
Well, she had one that was peppery, it was spicy. We've got a scotch that matches that perfect. It's peppery, it's spicy, it's strong, it fills that cigar, fills your mouth with everything.
Now, before we end here, what is the name of that scotch?
This is our Glenmorangie 12-year-old Sherry Wood scotch.
Wonderful. You have a beautiful display here. I see that John Vidal is here tonight, and he is really busy. He's busy serving up all the single malt scotches. Well, Shannie, thank you for joining us. We're enjoying this show.
Thank you. Happy smoking.
Well, we've managed to get Maddie Shane here with us for a minute, and Maddie is the owner and organizer here of the cigar and single malt Scotch whiskey event. This extravaganza, this is a yearly event for you, isn't it, Maddie?
Yes, it is. It's a yearly event that we do in 15 states, and this is the first of 15.
How does it feel to be smoking a cigar, and is it something you're comfortable with?
I'm very comfortable with it. It's something that is newly acquired by me and has become very chic with a lot of women. And we also find that men find it very sexy. And as a woman, we all like sexiness. So we all are smoking, and it's a new hot item. And I think more and more women should get into it, and it's wonderful.
After that, I'm lighting up. I'm going right over there and light up a cigar.
You should, Rebecca. I think you'd have a good time.
Thank you, Maddie. We're having a good time here. We're enjoying your extravaganza.
Great. Hope to see you again soon.
We're having a wonderful time here at the final finishing touches of this Cigar Expo here in Las Vegas. It's an extravaganza, and it's for the cigars and the single malt scotches. They're joining up here in a dynamic duo, and we have Steve Tillman sitting here with me. He is part of this event. He's here with Glenord, which is part of United Distillers, and you're in the Western region. And Steve, Glenord is a winner. It's been winning awards 3 years in a row, I understand, and I'd like you to tell us the awards that it's been winning, and so we can learn more about it.
Well, Glenord's been entered in the International Wine and Spirits Competition for the last 3 years and has won the gold medal 3 years in a row. In 1994, it was given the award as the best single malt in the event. So it's definitely had its share of third-party endorsements, as we would say.
We've been trying to describe, as we've been going along on the city TV specials that we've been doing on cocktails and cigars, and of course the wonderful single malts go so well with the cigars. And what we've been trying to describe is, what is a single malt? Can you succinctly tell us exactly what that is?
Well, okay, I can try to succinctly tell you what it is. It's a scotch from one single distillery in Scotland. And all single malts are made with 100% malted barley as the only grain ingredient. They are made at one single distillery. They have nothing else blended with them. And that classifies them as a single malt scotch.
That certainly makes them purists. And Is that, would you say? Okay, now what I'd like to ask you next is, since you've been winning all these awards, what do you think the judges are looking for? What are the properties or the factors that go into giving Glenlivet the winning position?
Well, I'm not sure I could say exactly what the judges are looking for, but obviously they're comparing Glenlivet to the other malts that are in the competition. Glenlivet, what's unique about Glenlivet is it's a mixture of single malt Scotch aged in two different kind of barrels, both of course at the Glenlivet distillery, but about 65% of Glenlivet is aged in ex-bourbon barrels and about 35% is aged in ex-sherry barrels. So there's a touch of sherry in the finish in Glenlivet, and obviously that's something that the judges appreciate.
That's the taste they're looking for, apparently.
Must be.
Well, we're planning to move around here at the show and talk to some people, find out how they're enjoying themselves, and get to some people that are drinking Glenlivet, have some comments from them. Okay. One other thing in closing, though, I did want to say, apparently the Scotch have a little slogan for Glenlivet, and I was hoping you'd share that with us before we leave you.
Well, the slogan for Glenlivet from the Clan Mackenzie, dating back prior to 1838 when the distillery was actually first founded, is "I shine, not burn."
That's a wonderful closing note. Thank you, Steve Tillman. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Steve, you know, this is just such a great event. Everybody's enjoying themselves, and I thought maybe you'd pour some Glenlivet for us and tell us a little more about it while we're pouring it.
All right, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll show you how to drink a single malt Scotch. Now, one of the mistakes that people make sometimes in drinking any sort of a distilled spirit, and especially a single malt Scotch, is they try to inhale it and smell it the way they would as if they were drinking wine, and they stick their nose in the glass and take a big whiff, and then they say, wow, this is way too strong for me. That's a mistake. What you do is you open your mouth a little bit and you just breathe in instead of taking a huge whiff. Now try that.
Okay, I'm watching now. You do it.
Can you tell that I'm inhaling, but I'm not trying to...
You should put it up to your nose, but not in the glass.
Exactly.
Like that.
Right. Now,
like that.
Yeah, okay. Now did you notice that you can smell the Scotch, you taste it next?
Okay, so let's do that in concert. Let's do that together.
Here we go. Isn't that great?
That is great. We thank you for that demonstration.
Okay.
And we
cigars are next.
And we thank Glenlivet for that demonstration. And the cigars are next. And now Mike Delisa, who is the owner of Orinoco Cigars International, is joining me here, and we have picked a great place, haven't we, for this little meeting?
Yes, it's absolutely wonderful. They have an antique train back here that was made in the 1920s by the Pullman Company, and it's named after Louisa May Alcott, one of my favorite authors.
Well, I understand that the owner here of the Main Street Station Hotel down in downtown Las Vegas is actually a cigar aficionado of his own kind, and it was their idea to put in a smoking lounge, and they wanted it to be creative and different, and they had this Pullman car, and it just worked beautifully. And one of the things, Mike, we're enjoying while we're going to be talking about our cigars, we have our beers here too from the microbrewery here at the Main Street Station, so we're really set. But now let's get into your cigars. You have before us a grouping of your cigars, and tell us a little bit about each one.
Okay, Orinoco Cigars is the exclusive importer of premium cigars from Venezuela. We carry 3 lines: the Don Janis line, the Don Quixote line, and the Crispin Patino line. And I'm particularly excited about the Crispin Patino line because we've just introduced to the market 2 cigars, a Robusto and a Double Corona, which both come with a aged Honduran wrapper, and the wrapper's been aged for 7 years. That's very exciting to me because it's just impossible in this day and age and this current market to get the properly aged tobacco. So we're very excited that we located a cache that we're able to put on these cigars and still maintain a reasonable price.
And now these are from the country of Venezuela?
Correct. Venezuela has been a cigar-making country for 500 years. It's known in South America as La Cuna del Tobacco, which means the cradle of tobacco, where cigars originated. The tobacco land is wonderful. It was designated by the Spanish crown in the 1700s as some of the best tobacco growing region.
Mike, we hope to have you on future shows of City and telling us more about the cigars that you represent. And will you accept?
I hope you'll have me back.
Thank you very much. We're in Coral Gables today at the Biltmore Hotel, which is a landmark. It's a national treasure. It is also a hotel that is very cigar-friendly, you might say. They have cigar night, cigar lounges. You can smoke cigars in the lobby. It's a perfect setting for us to be here, isn't it? It's perfect. I have to introduce the young lady beside me here. She is the cigar lady. Her name is Emmanuelle. She has a cigar line called Leduva. And welcome to City.
Thank you very much. Yes, you just talk about Leduva. Leduva is one of my line of cigars. It's the premium line of cigars, and this is the tobacco I cure and I treat during a very long time with a French cognac, which is a cognac Ferrand. And the cognac gives a special aroma to the cigars, enhance the tobacco, and doesn't leave any bitter aftertaste in the mouth. So it's a very nice cigar to smoke, very smooth, with no bitter, no bad aftertaste.
You do have an interesting story.
I would say a love story. That's why I love taking care of doing what I am doing today. That means importing and distributing premium tobacco from Dominican Republic.
What are the names of the cigars that you are producing right now?
So, you talk about Leduva. Leduva is what I would say my premium line. It's the number one line for two reasons. First of all, because I have a very special concept, which is the treatment of a tobacco with a 30-year-old French cognac, who gives a very nice aroma to the cigars. And also because this cigar, I'm sure, has the most beautiful packaging in the market. Beautiful cardboard of 5, beautiful little wood boxes of 3. And besides Leduva, I have another premium cigars, and this one doesn't have any special treatment with any liquor. It's called Suave cigar. And I'm working today in launching 2 new line of cigar, and I won't tell you the name because I'm still scared of my competitor, and I'm registering the trademark. That's why let's keep it as a surprise.
We will remember the name Leduva. Thank you. Rick White is standing here with me. Rick White is the Vice President of Marketing here at the Orleans. And Rick, it's a new hotel here in Las Vegas awaiting everybody. Tell us about it.
Well, you have elements of Creole, Cajun, the Bayou, the fun of Bourbon Street, the music, the Zydeco music is something that's been a big hit here. And we have a little bit of something for everybody. In addition to the New Orleans themed elements, we have one of the world's finest bowling alleys, 72 lanes. We have about 40,000 square feet of convention space and a beautiful 850-seat showroom.
We're going to follow up our little talk right here now with a tape that you had made for you, sort of really showing that flavor, the Mardi Gras, the night on Bourbon Street, and the Orleans Hotel. We invite you to watch it now.
Everything you love about New Orleans, turn up Las